Today we're going to make breakfast casserole. I associate breakfast casserole with the holidays. I assume that I do that because it's one of those things that you make the day ahead, you let it sit in the fridge overnight, and then you bake it the next morning, which is perfect for Christmas Eve morning or Christmas morning. But I got to thinking, why do I have to wait for the holidays for something that I love that much? So I decided that this is what we're going to make this week. Everything you see in front of you is all you need for this recipe. That's one of the things that's so great about it. It takes literally 7 ingredients. That's it. You mix all of those things together, pour it in a casserole dish, let it sit overnight in the fridge, and bake it the next morning. Honestly, one of the hardest things about this recipe is just browning the sausage, and that really doesn't take very long at all. You're going to need 2 cups of whole milk, 16 ounces of sausage. I use mild Tennessee Pride. You could use a hot, you could use a different brand. I just have always found that Tennessee Pride is the best sausage brand around my area. You need 6 slices of white sandwich bread with the crust. I make sourdough bread, and I like the fact that I know the ingredients that are in the bread. So I Googled how many ounces would be in 6 slices of sandwich bread, and it was about 9 ounces. So I'm going to cube up 9 ounces of my sourdough. You need 6 eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of sharp cheddar cheese grated. I grate my own because I think that freshly grated cheese melts so much better in any sort of dish, but you can always substitute it with the prepackaged kind, and some black pepper. Our first step is to brown our sausage on the stove. You're going to want to cook your sausage on somewhere around medium to medium high heat on your stove. You're going to break your sausage up as it cooks. Make sure that there's no really big lumps or anything. You want it to be good and brown. No pink remaining in the meat. Once it's cooked and there's no pink remaining, you're going to remove it from the stove and drain the fat off. And then you can set it to the side. Like I mentioned, I'm substituting sourdough for the white loaf bread. So what I'm going to do is cut up 9 ounces of sourdough into this bowl. And because sourdough is notorious for being very hard to cut through, I'm actually just going to use some kitchen shears and cube it that way. The next step is to crack 6 large eggs into a bowl. Once you have all those eggs in the bowl, you're going to take your hand mixer and mix the eggs up until well beaten. You can do this by hand, but it's just so much easier to use your hand mixer. Once that's good and mixed, you're going to add in your milk, salt, and pepper to taste. Take your mixer, mix it all up again really well. Once everything's mixed up, we're going to add the rest of the ingredients to this bowl. We're going to add in the sausage, which you've drained the fat off of, the shredded cheddar cheese, and your cubed bread. You're going to make sure everything's really good and saturated in this bowl. You want to make sure your bread gets totally covered. Then you're going to spray a casserole dish with baking spray and add this mixture into that casserole dish. Use your spoon to make sure everything's evenly distributed and that all of your bread is soaked underneath the liquid. Take some plastic wrap and put it over that. And then we're going to put it in the refrigerator until the next morning. It's the next day. We've taken our casserole out of the refrigerator. We've taken the plastic wrap off the top, and it's ready to go in the oven. Excuse me, my goodness. You can tell that it's ready to go in the oven because all of your pieces of bread have expanded with the liquid and they're good and squishy. We're going to bake this at 350 between 30 and 35 minutes. You'll want to keep an eye on it just to make sure it doesn't get overdone. I'm going to put this in the oven and I'll be back when it's done. We've taken our casserole out of the oven. It baked for 30 minutes. Everything looks great. The cheese is good and bubbly. I've let it sit here for a few minutes to cool off so that it can firm up a little bit before I cut it. I'm going to portion it out into probably 6 to 8 different slices. I'm planning on eating this week for breakfast. I'm going to package them individually and heat them up every morning. But for now, I'm going to indulge in a slice, and I'm so excited. Excuse me, look like you love me. I was able to divide mine into 8 portions, which is perfect for me for the next week or so. I'm really pleased with the way that my sourdough did in here. I wasn't sure if it would expand the same way that white bread would, but it did, and it looks exceptional. It's got some crusty bits, still a little bit more firm than the white bread would be. So let's give it a try. Make sure we get a little bit of everything in every bite. Tastes just like I remember it. It has such a mild flavor that's so cozy. It's so great. I'm really glad I used the sourdough. I like the chewiness. I like that little sour note that it brings to it. Just delicious. I hope if you've never tried breakfast casserole, you'll give this one a try, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. See you next time.